I believe there is a fine line here. Of course, you want to protect your children and arm them with the tools of all the things they should not do and how to protect themselves. And something like a mobile phone can get a child into trouble. One of my first phones I had a Motorola, and I had no access to the internet. Of course, I had messages off the people that I saw at school, but it was a very basic phone, and it just had no access to the internet at all. I mean, back then, when I had it, I didn't even think phones could go on the internet at all. These days, if or you hand a mobile phone over, I think it's important that there needs to be a parental lock, and so a child can think, oh, I can't do this or I can't do it, and that's because of their parents putting in the necessary steps in place. I mean, even Facebook. I joined when I was in my 20s, and because it was the in thing, and for that you contacted people on MSN, and the thing with Facebook is it can be a happy place where you can just talk to people that know you from school, or or family, and you can set your account to be in private too, but it doesn't stop people that they don't know, especially if you are young and single, trying to friend request you or messaging you going, hey, you're fit, can I have your number? I'd say you should be clued up on new things coming out. I'd say getting your child to show you new sites is a better way to monitor rather than spying. My parents weren't all that clued up on the internet, and when I was a teenager, I did things which would make my parents' toes curl, really, and I did actually come to them. This one time because I'd given my number out to a person who I shouldn't have, and I actually got told I'm a silly girl, or they said they were pleased I was coming to them, And that is what parents want. That is what they want. But I do think how parents react is is essential, because me and my sister, we would go to my dad, who's a lot calmer, as opposed to who was or is prone to overreact. You can correct your children in different and effective ways, rather than actually going, oh, is that what they teach you in that school? Because then they don't come to you with things, then you don't actually learn things, what's going on. You can know where your child is, what friends they are seeing, when they will be back home, but you need to know the innermost things that are going on inside of them. And children will come to you, and if you dismiss everything and you overreact, they are more than likely to keep things to themselves. It's like, say your child comes out with a dirty Coke, you could get angry about it and scold them if you will, or you can turn around and say, don't ever say that again, James, if that is your child's name. And of course your kids will ask why, and then you tell them, because it's cruel, because it's unkind, because it's rude, and then that way you can correct your children into not doing it again. Because if it's the first time they've come out with a dirty Coke, or if it's the first time they've even sworn, they don't know what they are doing is wrong. It's like they've heard it, they've picked up on it, and they are just repeating it. But if they do it again, once they know it's naughty, once they know it's wrong, then yes, by all means, discipline your kids then. Recently, and I've watched this across this morning, there has been a lollipop man who has resigned from his job because he's high-fiving the kids as they've gone into school. And I just think parents are really particular in things that happen, things that make them feel uncomfortable. It's like, how can I put it? He could or is a nice, friendly man who, high fives as a way of building bonds and contact and all this business. Or if I had just moved into another area and I and if I've an 8-year old daughter, I wouldn't particularly like it. I wouldn't go as far as reporting him, but I would find it uncomfortable, awkward, and a bit weird, because if if you don't know this person and this person is in who looks like they are in their 50s or their 60s and they are high-fiving your daughter, you're like, well, actually, I feel uncomfortable because I want to send my daughter into school and not exactly feeling a need to high five a lollipop man, but you can't tell him. I'd rather that you didn't high five my daughter, because then you'd think, well, am I being out of place here? Maybe I should tell a person in the school and and get them to talk it out. It's really weird if like you see aim and doing anything to your child. It's like, okay, bearing in mind my dad is the most loveliest man anyone will ever meet. Or when I was younger and I was on holiday and I don't know where I was, but my dad from where he was at saw this young girl get stung by a bee, and of course he's like, oh my gosh, and he runs over to this kid, and then the mother's face just drops, like, what is this man doing with my daughter? Why is he running after her? And at this point, my mom steps in and actually goes, he's with me, we have kids, he has actually seen your daughter get stung by a bee. And then my mom told me that this mother's face just dropped in relief that it was something as simple as that, but it took my mom to smooth things over, because parents, especially if it's a man, it's like, I don't want them doing that to my daughter if they've got stung by a bee, if someone's I mean, I think this day and age, lots of terrible things go on, and lots of things make lots of people feel uncomfortable, and I think at the end of it, I think all parents want the best for their kids. So at the end of it, what they are actually trying to do is stop things or prevent things that they feel should not be happening. And it's like, when I was younger, it's like, this was one of my first jobs when I was about 15, 16, and I worked in a kitchen. I was doing the hot wash, and there was this man, and he used to pull my ponytail, you know, and he'd like laugh at me. I'm thinking, I don't really like that. Not really. Well, how would he feel if I knock into him? Or how would he feel if I do this or if I do that? And he just smiled like it was a joke. But yes, and of course this continued. I mean, even now, it was about, was it, I don't know, was it last year? Somebody pulled me by my ponytail, because I tend to wear my hair up at work, and someone pulled me, and I was gonna have a go at this person, because I'm thinking, how dare this person do that? And it was my husband. And at that point, I think I just calmed down. Or, no, I don't like that. That is something for me that I don't like, if a guy was it. And, well, let's just talk about this experience with this man in my first job, which was, I think I went to work in the morning. I came home and I was watching TV. I was watching TV in my parents' bedroom, and I have this call. I mean, my mobile starts going, and it's not an unknown number, but it's a number that my mobile doesn't, recognise. And I'm like, and at that age, you are like, should I answer it? And then it's like, I'm definitely answering it, because I want to know who this person is. So I answer it, I pick it up, and at first, this person is out of breath, and I'm like, okay. And the next thing I heard was, where are you? And I'm like, I'm at home. And then in that second, I'm like, oh, it's him off my job. And I'm like, oh my God. And he's like, yes, I know you're at home. Which number are you? And I'm like, well, I'm not going to tell him. And I'm not, like, carefully trying to peek out of my parents' curtains to see whereabouts he is. And then all of a sudden, he comes on the other end and goes, I saw you. I'm on highway. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he's on his way, he's on his way. Why is he on his way? And at this point, my mom just calls up the stairs, and I don't know what she wants me for, but at this point, I'm panicking. I'm like, what's he doing here? What's he doing? What's he doing here? He's coming. And Mom's like, who's coming? And then all of a sudden the doorbell goes, and I'm like, because he's a grown man that I work with, and he's turning up at my doorstep. Well, anyway, when I was panicking and my dad knew that there was a man at his door, I mean, my mom just said, you should have seen your dad's face. He was about to, I don't know, he was about to maybe hit him, clobber him, and he, and so he gets him invited in. He gets invited in, and he sits down for a coffee and a hat, and then he goes off. And then what I actually didn't know was he at work he found out my mobile number, and he finds this out, and he which is confidential. He shouldn't have done it, and he turns up at my house. So, a lot of parents would find that inappropriate, because this guy was clearly, I'd say he was clearly in his 50s, possibly 60s, and so yeah, that was really weird, and he did get into trouble at work, but he how can I put this, he wasn't all there. And he, that was why he turned up. That was why he called me. And I could slowly start to understand why he did what he did. For a guy, this day and age, I think you just have to be so careful, because there is, or there will be parents or a younger mother somewhere going, I don't want this guy doing this or whatever, and this is what I mean by spying and snooping on your kids. I think you have to be, like, as I have mentioned, clued up on stuff, or it is also down to your child to come and tell you things. And I just think if you keep an open communication and you talk to them, there is more chance of them coming to you with problems rather than hiding stuff. It's like, if all kids use them mobile all the time, but if they have to hide it, if they have to, you have to wonder what's happening. My parents, well, have never snooped as such. I think they have if they felt it wasn't necessary, or what they have done is you are showing me exactly what is going on. You are showing me what's in your inbox. You are showing me this. You are showing me that. And yeah, it's well, I think my parents did it in more of a demanding kind of way, or it's perfectly okay to ask your child what they are doing, and if they are next to you tapping away, it's like, why are you being so secretive? What's on your phone? Because I mean, that is one of the signs I'd think to watch out for, is if they are secretive, if they are withdrawing from you. It's like, I think you have got to trust your child. I know that you don't trust other people, but I think give a child a bit of credit. I mean, when I say a child, I actually mean teenagers. When I say a child, it's like half the time it doesn't matter if your child is in his or her 20s, it will still be your child, and your parents will never put you really on a par with themselves. So, as parents, you do need to monitor, but at the same time, keep the communication levels going. Talk to your kids, and I am sure you will get the information you actually need, because your child needs to feel comfortable coming to you to be able to tell you these things in the first place. Oh yeah, it is really vital, and I think these days quite a good number of parents seem to have a better relationship with their children. Yeah, it's just a case of talking and keeping all the communication lines open, and especially once your child dates. I mean, there's always gonna be boyfriends that you think, I don't think they are quite right for my child, but just sort of keep an eye on them. Ask your child if how are they doing. Check in with them. If they've got any problems, they know that they can come to you. Just I mean, it is simple to keep it open, but a lot of parents, especially my mom, she made it really clear that she did not like this one boyfriend of mine, and of course I've course, I've looked into it across the internet, and he was a narcissist. You know, it's right at the beginning. There was lots of love bombing and gaslighting and all this business. So, you know, it is important, and to not let your child be embarrassed. I think sometimes you have to keep calm, and I think at times you need to keep non-judgmental, because at the end of the day, this is your son or your daughter, and you know, and what your child needs to know is that you love them, and they can come and talk to you about anything.